Hey there, it's Chris. Welcome back to the Final Fantasy XII Ultima project, where last time we did the left arm over here, and since then I've gone and finished off the right arm as well, because you already saw the left arm worked. It worked out the exact same way on the right. So today our goal is to plow forward again, and we're going to start working more towards the details on the dress. That's going to come in three separate parts. We have this kind of breast cover over here, and we have this area, which we finally been kind of laying on top forever. We can now finally go and actually make this real. And then if we come on down the end, we have the fringe that goes along the bottom of the dress. So three things we want to get done. However, before we get started, one of the things I just wanted to emphasize is the idea of scale on this model. Now, every time we've seen her, she is a big model, because from the width to height, I mean, she is just kind of massive in here. And I know I've told you the actual scale. She's about 5 inches tall with like a 2-inch kind of hat on top, or mitre on top. Well, most of the models I've done have been approximately 10 inches tall. I've done about 20 of them at this point, at about 10 inches tall. And just to give you an idea of how she stands compared to the vast majority of other ones I've done, well, there's Kai right there. So when we're doing our detailing, we're trying to get things look nice and neat. Keep in mind, all of our details are literally half the size of what, again, I traditionally do. I know we just got off the mid project where mid was also this kind of diminutive size. But when it comes to my normal dealings, this is what I'm usually dealing with detail-wise. We're trying to shrink things down on this, so bear with as we make some of these adjustments, because I love doing these little comparisons every now and again. So, that said, Kai, you're going to slide over to the side there. We're going to bring you up front. And we don't need the head right now. That's just going to get in the way. Because we're kind of going to start from the top down. So I want to get this breast cover and choker kind of in here. Then we'll come down the middle. Whoop, we'll come down the side. And then we'll finish off going around the outside here. So first, I know we need to come and use our old friend over here. And when we did the dress, we wanted the dress to be the 7mm, which is as thick as my posture roller can go. For these detailing parts, I would like to be somewhere between 3 and 4. If we go 1 or 2mm, it just ends up being too thin on this. It becomes actually difficult to work with because the clay gets so thin. And also, it's difficult to see because all you can see right now is a shadow line on here. So just from a visual medium, we want to have a little bit of beef to this. So I kind of hemmed and hawed. I kind of did a couple of test runs on this between 3 and 4. And we're just going to stay with the 4mm thick for this. So let's just go and stick you in, run this through a couple times. This gives us a little bit of material to work with. And this also will have enough of a shadow line on here that it's visible to see. I know this will be painted in the end, but for now, it'll give it a little bit of support. Plus, trying to squeeze things in and whatnot, it will give us a little bit of support to work with. So, this should be plenty to have. Here we go. We have you down here. And let's go and take this stuff off. We no longer need this on here because we're going to be doing this for real at this point. So that can go. Whoop. This can hopefully peel off nice and easy. I've been doing what I can throughout this entire process to not push this in. Okay, good. It came off. And we also don't need this sitting on here either. So let's pop you off. Okay, so we're back to a blank slate to use on here. Let's just go and this feels like it got stuck. Okay. Some of it did stick. It looks a little messed up there. That's actually fine. We can zoom in on this. So that's actually fine. All right, so I do want to, first thing I want to do is make sure this dress is actually kind of tight up against the bust line, because that's going to help give it a form on there, which we want to have, which apparently we are. Okay. And then we take this, and I'm just going to cut an approximate size on here. I don't need to be exact on this at all. I don't like how the feet on my camera are showing on this. Let's give ourselves an approximate size to use. It doesn't have to be perfect. I want big enough to get the job done, but small enough that I can actually manipulate this thing and not have too much to work with. And I think I'm going to do this in 2 pieces. I'm going to have the covering and the neck and kind of going up the front of the neck as one piece, and then I'll have it kind of wrap around the side as a second piece. So for this, I'm just going to I'm going to push you in a little bit. Now, nice thing is this front part doesn't in any way connect down here. From every angle I can see, they are separate pieces. That stays right at the top. And we're going to come, let's start down there. The nice thing is if ever I mess up, we can always redo this again. My goal is to not do that and not have to make more work for myself. But if stuff happens, we can always deal. Okay, so that comes down, that comes down. Let's get you up there. Okay, that's good. We're going to be doing all these kind of cuts in place. I know if we're doing actual kind of fabric stuff, we want to have kind of a pattern, put it up there, be super nice. Well, this isn't a fabric piece, this is clay. So we're going to be doing, we have the ability to do these cuts up here in place. That said, when we do, this will also give us a chance again to kind of push this in and have it read nicer. I don't need any of this top. I'm going to be cutting even more off the top, but let's start with there. And let's get this down here. Steady hands. I need steady hands for this. You come down and kind of back up. Come on, pop that out, pop out, pop out. You can see I'm not talking, it means I'm concentrating. It doesn't want to pop. I didn't cut it all the way. I didn't cut it all the way. Oop, okay, there we go. We got that. So let's get that out of the way. Can we not have the shadow from my camera get in the way of this? It would be nice to actually see what we're doing. Okay, I get the feeling this wants to come in just a little bit. So let's get that out. Yeah, we want this to kind of feel a little more on the thinner side. Oh, come on. If I was ambidextrous, this would be great, and I could use my left hand to manipulate stuff, but I'm not, so that's not gonna help. Okay, so if that side's cut a little bit, we want this side cut a little bit. Sorry, camera is slightly in my way. Okay, we have that off, so that's good. we go in, just kind of pushing it in a little bit so it wraps around. Apparently I had clay in weird places and it just fell off my little tool over here, so that's super cool. Okay, so I have that. Kind of feels like it's in place. I have a little bit of touch up top here because the point of that kind of came down a little. Okay, there we go. So you have that. And let me go. I have my own image on the side here. Let me slide that down so I can see what's going on with the neck. How are we doing on time? We're at 10.5 minutes. Some of this stuff might be cut out in the end. So if we want our neck portion, we're going to be starting in or about over here. So let's just cut that out. We're going to work up to that point. Okay, so this, what we have is another little kind of V shape comes out. Actually, if this turns into 2 sessions doing this, that might be fine because after this are the wings. And the wings are going to take kind of a substantial amount of time. And if this winds up getting spread over 2, that buys me a little bit of time in a way to get that going as well. So if this takes a little longer than I hoped, I'm actually not super upset with that. But at the same time, it would be nice to just show, again, how long it takes to detail some of these things. Now, the Kai model that I brought out just a few minutes ago, keep in mind, the sculpting phase on that took something like 35-ish episodes to do at about 45 minutes apiece, so you can do the math on how long that actually takes to complete. This, I believe, is session 10. So we are on a fairly expedited pace right now compared to what that is. And Bang was actually kind of the same thing in terms of time frames. Most of my models wind up taking about 30 or so hours to do. It's a kind of a comfortable time frame I like doing. If I go kind of shorter than that, I feel like I don't have enough detail. If I go any longer than that, then it just kind of feels... Well, if I go any longer than that, then I just kind of get bored after a while. So I like having... So to me, having this kind of 30-hour time frame just feels good. And this one, I think at the end of everything is going to wind up being that if we include the sculpting side. But we are making substantial progress. I think it was, on the Kai one, was 12 episodes just to get the legs done. So, just to put things in perspective. Okay, so I did a little bit over there. Let's do... Sorry, I keep trying to put this, I'm causing my own shadow on this, which is not helping things. So maybe if I just kind of move everything all over the place here, I can try to avoid becoming my own kind of worst enemy on this. We got you out of the way. We got you out of the way. All right, there we go. So we have, there we are. If we zoom in here, we do have now the basic form of that. Now there is some crimping that goes on. Now how much of this crimping is actually going to be seen by anyone in the end, I have no idea once we get paint and all that on here. But just make sure. I'm kind of looking off to the side to make sure I'm still kind of on camera. Do we have the bottom of this too? It doesn't look like the bottom does. However, this definitely does come in. Actually, this is making a difference. This is definitely making a difference. I'm not sure if the bottom has it or not, but I think I'm going to put it in. Well, I guess we are going ambidextrous-like now. Left hand. Yeah, I do have a plan on doing wings now. I know what I want to do on that. It's going to be what I call a time sink to get it done kind of right. Let's see here. So we have that. It kind of goes up and in. Anything else? And then right at the very top, we get a little dabble of something that kind of goes. Okay, this is going to be one of those pieces where you might not see the clay in my hand, but it exists. And we're going to put it on. See, that little guy. That's going to go boop, right there. When that gets painted a slightly different color. Okay, so we got that. Next, is this long enough to go around? Yes, it is. So let's go and cut this. I'm probably looking for something that's around here? Question mark? Teeny bit skinny. Oh, actually, I don't really need skinnier. I can drop this down just a little bit. I think that side was up a little high anyway. Oh, well, we do need to be a little skinnier. We do need to be a little skinnier. All part of the plan. What are we now? 18 minutes. I'm probably going to be fast forwarding through some of this. I at least want to get this and the front part going down. So I'm imagining there's going to be a music montage going in somewhere. That's just kind of how this works. Okay, and as with before, we're just going to take that little slice there. So we have that piece off. This comes down. Slice that. And bam, we have that connected. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I just hit the bottom of the dress. Don't do that. All the bad happens when that goes down. Okay, just merging those. Okay, so do I have any details on me here of how this is supposed to look? Give me 1 second. I'm zooming in on my own images. Whoa, zoomed in way too far. And frankly, there are no real images of how this part's supposed to come together. So all I'm going to do is bring a line up there. I'm going to bring a line up here because ultimately there's hair that comes down and covers kind of this whole thing. So all I'm going to do is just kind of score the outer edge of this. It can be kind of plain, and that's okay. Once hair goes on, which actually hair is going to wind up being the last thing because I need the wings first, and the hair has to go over the wings because it doesn't make any kind of sense going the other way around. Okay, and with that, we want to make sure the head can come back on. Head squishes things a little bit. That's 100% fine, because now I can take that off. Yeah, it's also going to be really nice when the hair covers all of that badness back there. But again, that can just kind of stay bad because we know the hair is coming up there, so I'm not super concerned. Okay, last time. Just like that, it's actually looking, it actually does make it look a lot better. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pop the camera off real quick. I'm going to go ahead and roll out the next layer of this to go down the front and kind of get that all prepped and ready. So 1 sec, I'll be right back. All right, and we're back. And I've gone ahead, I've rolled out another piece and kind of cut it to the approximate size it needs to be. And it winds up being just a little bit wider than the one I had been using before, but not much. And I went and actually counted the points on the thing, and there wind up being approximately, or wind up being 17 little divots that go on here. And All right. Well, there we have it. We have 2 of the 3 areas I wanted to get done today. So at least as a start. So we got this main part down here, and we got the upper part in. So next time when we come back, I'll finish this trim that goes along the edges there, and maybe add actually officially the hair that comes down here, kind of touch that up, make that nice. And that'll give me actually, if that's going out, I plan on having another drawing episode is going out next. This is going out on Tuesday, so Thursday figures going to be another drawing one. And then I'll finish off this detail stuff on the coming Saturday. And then that'll give me another weekend, or this coming week/weekend, to get these wings going. Because those wings are going to be a gigantic time sink. So it'd be nice to have a little bit of time built up for that. So we're getting there. We are getting there, but no, it's definitely looking like something now. It is definitely looking like something. It's going to be nicer once I can take the foil off of here. But again, when I re-harden stuff, what happens is, when you harden it, the clay initially gets softer, and then as it cools, it crystallizes into its form. So when I re-harden all this thing one more time, I still need the support underneath so it doesn't collapse on itself when we go and do that. But no, I'm liking where this is going now. It's looking kind of like what I want it to look like. So that's where we are, and that's what we have coming up for kind of the rest of the week, if you're kind of following along with this. So until those times come, until next time, enjoy.